All right, guys. In the last lesson, we talked about what an organism is and what a habitat is. Now, an organism is a living thing, and the habitat is where an organism lives. Now, a habitat provides three things for an organism. It provides food, shelter, and water. Now, if an organism doesn't have one of those three things, then it either is going to need to leave its habitat to find a new habitat that does provide that, or it's likely it could die. When we're looking at a habitat, we can categorize everything in that habitat into one of two categories. We're going to talk about everything that's living in a habitat and everything that's not living in a habitat. Now, in science, we like to use fancy words because we want to be, professional and we want to sound really smart. So we're going to look at the words biotic and abiotic. Now, they both have very similar structures. In fact, the only difference between biotic and abiotic is the letter A. But I want you to look specifically at the word bio, or the root bio, B-I-O. Bio stands for life. It comes from Latin, I believe. If you see a word with bio in it, it's typically going to deal with life in some way. For example, when you're in ninth grade, you're going to take a course called biology. Bio is life, ology is the study of. So when we put those two roots together, biology is the study of life. So when we're looking at the living things or biotic factors in an organism, we're looking at things that are alive or that they were once alive, meaning they're dead. When we look at some examples on there, plants are living things. They don't necessarily move or talk like you and I, but they go through the growth cycle. They have their own reproductive cycle. That's why we have seeds on there as well. Seeds turn into plants. Decomposing plants is just a fancy, nice way of saying plants that are dead. Owl pellets, or owl poop, also contains things that were once alive and are now dead. Abiotic factors are simply the things that are not alive. They were never alive. Now, you might be asking yourself, well, what's not alive? Well, take a deep breath. You just breathed in a combination of gases, mostly nitrogen, but there's some oxygen in there as well. Gases are not alive. So every time you take a breath, you're breathing in an abiotic factor. Likewise, if you just need a drink and you're thirsty, water is not alive. It does contain biotic things, but water on its own is non-biotic. It's what we call a compound. Temperature is also non-biotic. But think about it. If we didn't have temperature and it was just like insanely cold or insanely hot, we probably wouldn't live too well. The only exception is soil. And this is where scientists get to be a little irksome, because some scientists are like, well, I believe that soil is abiotic because it's never actually been alive and it's just a combination of broken up stuff. And then you got, hold on a second, soil is in fact biotic because it's made from the broken down, decomposed thing. And you know what? You just kind of want to take scientist A and scientist B, and so it goes back and forth. Soil can be considered biotic or abiotic. It's like tomato versus tomato. You can make an argument either way.